Apparently, all roads in Star Wars lead to Rey, or at least that's according to the latest rumors, because so long as Kathleen Kennedy remains president of Lucasfilm, she's going to insist that her self-insert becomes the center of the entire Star Wars universe. But a lot of people have been pushing back on this because they didn't like Rey in the sequel trilogy. And despite multiple attempts to try to get her own franchise following this, it really hasn't materialized. But it's looking like they're trying to do something right now, which is sneak Rey into other movies that might actually have a chance of being successful in order to try to jumpstart her own trilogy. But before we dive into all this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment and hit the like button too, because it helps me out. Star Wars Starfighter rumored plot involves Rey Skywalker. This is according to Cosmic Book News. And I just want to emphasize that these are rumors, so you can take them with a pinch of salt, but they do kind of line up with what we already know about Star Wars. So at least to me, it doesn't seem like it's too much of a stretch to believe what's being reported here. New rumors about the plot of Star Wars Starfighter have surfaced online, suggesting a connection to Rey Skywalker, Rey Palpatine actually, and the sequel trilogy timeline. The rumors started via John Roca, who claimed the movie's story follows Ryan Gosling's character as he protects the son of a female Jedi played by Amy Adams. Flynn Gray is the actor playing her son, who was Force sensitive. Gosling's character is said to be non-Force sensitive, but tasked with keeping the boy safe from villains. Okay, so far that doesn't sound like necessarily a bad plot, but this is where it kind of gets into the whole Rey Skywalker angle. The speculation escalated when the Den of Nerds account on X said the rumor is true and the mission centers on Amy Adams' character. Any guesses? Okay, delivering the child to Rey Skywalker, which is actually similar to how Mando delivered Grogu to Luke. The account called the rumor direction a corporate move designed to position Rey as the centerpiece of future Star Wars projects, rather than an organic choice from director Shawn Levy. Now, just think about that for a second. Like, if he's supposed to protect the Force-sensitive boy and trying to deliver him somewhere, it's like, well, who are they going to send the character? Who are they going to deliver him to? So they're saying it's going to be Rey Skywalker, and she's basically starting up a new Jedi Order and is going to be the master of it. And this pretty much going to establish her as a character moving forward in Disney Star Wars. And this whole idea seems kind of like a corporate move rather than something organic from Shawn Levy. I can definitely see that being the case too, because as I said at the start of the video, there's been many attempts to actually bring Rey into the Star Wars universe yet again and have her own trilogy, but nothing has worked out. The writers that they've brought on for the project have all ultimately left the project. There was even some talented writers that they've brought on in the past, but the problem is they just couldn't work with Kathleen Kennedy, or at least they would go back and forth on script ideas and revisions before they ultimately left, just citing creative differences. And I think a lot of that has to deal with the fact that some of the writers are how they were talented, were wanting to make something good, but Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, you need to do this, this, this. And then they're like, well, we just can't make a good script with your suggestions. So they ultimately leave. And that's why the project has ultimately just kind of stalled out. Now, this article came out from That Park Place last June, talking about how, according to these rumors, that there hasn't been any progress made on the Rey movie. So I'm not going to go into this whole thing, but just take a look at what this says. So the film, tentatively titled Star Wars New Jedi Order, was set to star Daisy Ridley in her return as Rey at rebuilding the Jedi Order 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. So they're wanting to establish Rey as rebuilding a Jedi Order, so that coincides with the Ryan Gosling and Shawn Levy movie. It was to be directed by Academy Award-winning documentarian Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy. Now, that seems kind of weird, having a documentary filmmaker in charge of a movie like this, but she's also a staunch feminist, which is why Kathleen Kennedy hired her to begin with, and had cycled through several writers, including Damon Lindelof, Stephen Knight, and most recently, the bankers George Nolfi. According to a report by Entertainment Insider Daniel Reichman, the film has been placed on hold while Lucasfilm focused on other projects in development. Among those are The Mandalorian and Grogu, currently in production and scheduled to release on May 22nd, 2026, and director Shawn Levy's Star Wars Starfighter, which has reportedly cast Ryan Gosling and is being targeted for a 2027 release. Now, James Mangold, his movie is also moved up to take the spot for the supposed Rey movie out there. In fact, that was supposed to be the next movie, or the next big movie that Star Wars was going to be released theatrically. But since there's been so many delays and so many writers leaving the project and they don't have anything of it so far, they decided to push up the Mandalorian and Grogu, then the Star Wars Starfighter, and then pretty soon James Mangold's Star Wars movie. So the Rey movie is nowhere to be seen. That's why people are thinking that they're canceling it. And maybe that was kind of the idea initially, but by trying to have the corporate people, basically Kathleen Kennedy, shoehorn her into the Ryan Gosling movie, something that actually stands a chance of being successful at the box office, then maybe this is something that Kathleen Kennedy can point to, basically saying like, see, Rey's a popular character because she was in this movie. This movie was successful, if it turns out to be successful, or it's setting up the future. So by basically setting up Rey in the future of Star Wars in this movie, they have no choice but to follow through with it, or at least I think that's kind of the mindset going into this sort of thing. Worth a mention is a report last year by the Hollywood Reporter site said Daisy Ridley is the future of Star Wars franchise, which I doubted at the time. However, Ridley hasn't been announced as part of the cast. Maybe it's supposed to continue into her own movie that Disney yanked. Yeah, kind of what I was thinking, because they haven't gotten her movie off the ground yet by shoehorning her into another movie. Then they're kind of forcing Disney to basically move forward with Daisy Ridley as the future of Star Wars, because this is something that Kathleen Kennedy has wanted since she took over for Star Wars. I'm currently of the opinion Kathleen Kennedy will be exiting Lucasfilm in 2026, which comes with the exit of Bob Iger as Disney CEO. I'm betting the creatives and producers of Lucasfilm are in panic mode as the new regime could come in and hopefully clear house. So you have those at Lucasfilm who are desperately trying to keep their jobs, spinning this Rey garbage plot around. Let's hope it doesn't happen. If it does, it will be no different than the past few years of Star Wars content nobody will be watching. I mean, that's kind of true when it comes to Star Wars content. The Mandalorian and Grogu is something that needs to be a huge success for them because that's their first big movie after the Rise of Skywalker, and by all accounts, it doesn't look like it's anything spectacular. Now, it looks like there's potential there for it to be successful because the Mandalorian series was decent, at least for the first couple seasons. It fell off in the third season, so let's just wait and see whether or not basically this was the fourth season, but the movie will actually follow the trajectory of the third season, or whether it'll actually recapture the audience that it lost after season 2. But when it comes to a Daisy Ridley Star Wars movie, like I said, there's really not much of an interest in that sort of thing. The only reason they're trying to push this so hard is because Kathleen Kennedy wants Rey to basically be her legacy of Star Wars. For her short time there, she never really created anything. The only thing she did create was basically the character of Rey. Everything else was basically inherited from George Lucas and other more Star Wars savvy individuals at the company, but she wanted this to be her mark on the entire legacy of the franchise. And so far, everyone was basically just wanting to relegate it to a footnote. And that's why, as long as she's there, they're going to continue to push this, and she's going to do anything she can in order to make sure that there is a future of Star Wars for the character of Rey, as opposed to basically it just being ultimately retconned out of existence, which is something that might actually happen like way down the road, or at least in everyone's headcanon, it's pretty much retconned out of existence, like the entire sequel trilogy, or pretty much most of the Disney era of Star Wars. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think this is just kind of like a backdoor way of making sure Rey has a part in this future of Star Wars, or do you think these are just rumors and you don't need to necessarily pay attention to them? Comment below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit the like button and share the video out there because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.